From the Information Services News Desk, this is a special tip of the day publication for Information and Technology Services. It's the Mission Integration and ERD training for ITS.
Our Franciscan heritage is part of the legacy of Saint Francis of Assisi, from our congregation's foundation in TOD, Germany, to the present. It's always been the sisters' desire to be instruments of God, in bringing Christ's healing presence to humanity, especially the poor, sick, and needy. As HSHS colleagues, we carry the sisters' message to the patients we serve. Saint Francis of Assisi, born into a wealthy middle-class family of Assisi, died a poor little one, outside the walls of the city. Francis grew up living an extravagant life. He aspired to being a knight, fighting in the Crusades. Taken prisoner during a war with the neighboring town of Perugia, Francis became disillusioned with his life, and his material and superficial desires. In the silence of his heart, Francis heard the words, "Francis, go rebuild my house." This call from God gave him a purpose in life, to which he responded immediately. Francis knew in his heart that he was to give God his all. And he came to know the generous love of God's response. With a simple greeting, "May the Lord give you peace," Francis called others to realize God's love in their own lives. Francis embraced poverty because he wanted nothing to interfere with his relationship with God. Because of his experiences in war, Francis knew that possessing and amassing more property often led to conflict. Francis realized that if he had no possessions, he would have nothing to defend. As a poor man he would be free to live simply, as an instrument of God's compassion. Francis was mindful of the injustices in the society of his day. He made a conscious choice to leave behind his family's wealth, and be with the poor. From his meditations on the Gospels, Francis came to recognize how Jesus reached out to the poor and sick. Francis spent time serving the lepers, understanding the most precious gift he had to offer was the presence of God he carried within himself. Cherishing that same gift in all of creation, Francis showed those he met how to do the same. Francis' life also provides us with insights into the ecumenical spirit. In an effort to bring about a peaceful resolution to the war over the Holy Land, Francis traveled to meet with El-Kamil, the leader of the Saracens. The Pope and the leaders of the Crusades did not accept his suggestions for peace, yet Francis and El-Kamil found a way to have mutually respectful dialogue. There was no active seeking of conversion, rather a coming together and sharing of ideas. Francis was aware that active listening can lead to life-changing experiences. Francis was a man who was transparent before God and the world. He struggled to understand his place in God's plan. Francis so wanted to be like Christ that near the end of his life, he was graced with the similar wounds of Christ. Francis was a charismatic leader, but not a very good administrator. He eventually had to let go of his own dream for his brothers, and allow God's work to happen. As his final words to his brothers, Francis said, "I have done what is mine to do, may Christ teach you, yours." Major Legend by Bonaventure Chapter 14. This has been a Tip of the Day publication. For additional Tip of the Day publications, please subscribe to the HSHS Information Services YouTube channel. If you have a comment about the content of this Tip of the Day, or would like to make a suggestion for an upcoming publication, please send an email to tipoftheday@hshs.org.